Hello and welcome to Hank Games Without Hank. My name is John Green. I'm the manager of the AFC Wimbly Womblys, the greatest team in the history of football, owned by their fans, beloved by their supporters. It's just a wonderful story. And we're in the Premier League. We made it all the way up from the Combined Counties League to the Premier League. Today is going to be a wonderful day. The sun is shining in England for once. We've got just a lovely stadium to play in. We're playing Southampton, a very likable club, the opposite of Chelsea, some people say. And tonight's topic comes from Antoinette. Antoinette, who donated to the Project for Awesome to get the topic of a Wimbly Wombly video of her choice. And her topic is, what do you do when your parents don't approve of your post-secondary career path and they tell you that they won't, and they tell you what you want, they won't support you? Basically, you know. Hold on. First off, I have to tell you that we are in fourth, Meredith. Right now, if the season ended today, AFC Wimbledon would go to the Champions League next year. We'd be playing Barcelona and Real Madrid and a bunch of other teams that you've never heard of. It would be amazing. Oh my God, we're having the season of our lives, and I think it's largely down to John Green and John Green being in peak form, even though they're getting up there in years, so they aren't as expensive as they might otherwise be. It's just an amazing story. It's just two men who love their clubs so much. Look at that love of club right there. Anyway, I'm in a weird position for this question, Antoinette, because I am both a parent and a, like a person with an atypical post-school career path. I mean, I guess the first thing that I would say is that even though your parents might be right or wrong, like they do probably care about you. And oftentimes I think, like, when parents are wrong, it's a very well-intentioned kind of wrong. There's a great moment in the movie Boyhood, which I really, really liked. I don't really understand. Meredith, did you like Boyhood? Yeah, I don't really understand people who didn't like Boyhood. And it was overwhelmingly, to me, the second best film of the year. Maybe third best. None of the first two were the movie that won Best Picture. What won Best Picture again, Meredith? Birdman. Yes. No, not one of my top 5 films of the year. And I think very difficult to argue that it was one of the 5 best films of the year. But I bet if you were 70, it was one of the best films of the year. And that's how old all the Academy voters are. So anyway, that's not your question. I think it comes from a place of, like, wanting your kids to be okay, wanting them to be safe, wanting them to be secure. And so a lot of times I think parents put career expectations on their kids that are really about, maybe their own fears, maybe their own regrets or their own fears for their own lives. What a great move from John Green. Oh, almost a goal. Almost a goal on a Cruyffy turn. Oh, and then he gets taken out by his own man. But look at other John Green tracking back, playing with courage. Yeah, I mean, look, you got to do, it's your life. That's my basic advice. Like, your life ultimately belongs to you and not to your parents. And you've got to do, it is your life. That said, I don't know. I think parents are a little bit underappreciated. Not all the time, but sometimes in these situations, because sometimes, it's more about, I don't know, like my parents were always very supportive of my writing, but they also made it very clear to me that it was extraordinarily unlikely that I was going to make a living writing, and that I should, like, have a career, or not necessarily a career as such, but like that I should, like I should work hard and take my work seriously and understand that, like, my day-to-day work probably wasn't going to be writing books. It was probably going to be something like semi-professional FIFA playing, where you've just got to go through the daily grind of dreary living, playing as the greatest club in the history of the world. It is hard. My God. I'm also, yeah, so the other reason I don't feel really qualified to answer this question is that, like, I'm on the very far edge of the luck curve. Like, I've been able to do work that I really enjoy, and that probably biases me a little bit toward work that is really enjoyable. I mean, I guess my counter argument to your parents, and I don't know, for all I know, you want to be an engineer and they want you to be a doctor or something. But, like, my counter argument to parents in this situation is that, like, the one does not preclude the other, right? I mean, William Carlos Williams was a doctor and also one of the 20th century's best poets. And he never stopped being a doctor any more than he ever stopped being a poet. Like, he didn't think of them as, like, mutually exclusive. And I don't really buy the idea that you only do one thing with your life or that you have to give yourself wholly to one career. Now, obviously, there's some... Oh, God! Ball John Green almost with a goal. Obviously, there are some exceptions, like, you know, becoming, like, I don't know, a neuroscientist or whatever. It's going to be very difficult to be both a neuroscientist and an electrical engineer because they both involve a lot of post-secondary years of education. But I don't know. I think that in real life, the lines between areas of study and what you end up doing with as a job are much blurrier than they seem when you're younger. I mean, most of, you know, Meredith was a film studies major, and now, you know, she's the assistant coach of AFC Wimbledon. Like, you never know what your life is going to look like just based on your education. That said, like, I think it is, and the other thing I would say is there maybe some common ground? The other thing I'm wondering about is, like, is there possibly common ground where you can do, oh my God, that was almost beautiful, some version of both. Now, I'm big into, like, compromises and finding you know, whenever possible, finding ways to, you know, to be in good relationships with the people who matter most to you. But I also understand that there are sometimes when, you know, some choices you have to make where it's your life and you've got to live it, and you've got to take care of yourself and you know, honor what your, I don't want to say heart says, but, you know, like, you got to honor, like, what you know of yourself to be true. That was a great tackle by Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Rude. Sometimes people say that he doesn't play with courage, but I disagree. I think he does. He's our little Martin Skirtle, you know? He's bald, he's tough. You don't know who Martin Skirtle is. Have you ever seen any movies about, like, Serbia or war crimes in the Balkans or anything? Okay. He looks like a guy in one of those movies. Have you ever seen Jason Statham? All right, imagine a really angry Serbian Jason Statham. Yeah, no, he's handsome. He's wonderful. He's a Liverpool player. Such a good guy too. Yeah. Anyway, that's not relevant to the topic. Oh, God, almost with the breakthrough. The Wimbly Womblys struggling. You know what this game needs? Some dicko. I can just feel it. Sometimes you can feel when the dicko is you know, when you've gone too long without it. And so we're going to bring in dicko, and we're going to leave Ball John Green in, and then we're also going to bring in central midfield, Hell's Pels. He can score some goals, and so that we can have slightly better crosses coming in from the right, or coming in from the left, rather, we're going to bring in K. St. Louis, the patron saint of lost crosses. I think those are my 3 substitutions. I like to make them all at once, like the professionals do. And, yeah. So, I don't know. I would encourage you to find common ground, but also to, oh, God! Oh, God! Oh! Seb Brown! Pass it out of the back like the Wimbly Womblys do! Oh! That was a terrible time to pass it out of the back. Oh! Oh, Seb Brown, he saved the game. Probably shouldn't have passed out of the back there. Would have been a great time for the X button. Seb Brown, though. Come on, guys. Oh, God. No! Probably shouldn't have passed out of the back. Would have been a good time for the X button. I want to apologize to on the one hand, I do want to apologize to my friends and family. On the other hand, I don't know. I mean, passing out of the back is how we got to 4th place in the Premier League, ladies and gentlemen. It's hard to tell me that it's a bad idea. Oh, God, I'm so glad that Mose Vestergaard's hair is no longer on this. Hold on, I'm getting a call from Ohio. No, that's California. No, it's probably related to movie stuff, and I don't want to talk to those people right now. Nothing personal. I know movie people are always listening to the Wimbly Wombly videos. Yeah, so I mean, you know, don't despair too soon. But I know it's frustrating, and I mean I was very fortunate that my parents were always supportive of my dream of writing, and not everyone gets so fortunate. I was not offside in that situation, sir. Come on. This is frustrating. I really don't want to lose this game. I think that it was a penalty on the other guys. Yeah, I really don't want to lose this game because I think we're good enough to at least get a draw with Southampton. That's a good ball. Oh, that's a little frustrating. Gosh. Yeah, the other thing I would say is, like, I don't know, read the comments of this video because I might be wrong. I never know if my advice is any good. Who knows? You know, sometimes I give good advice. I think sometimes my advice is probably terrible. Oh, God. Not as terrible as my passing out of the back or my finishing off crosses. I really should have finished that. And then a pass to no one. That's disappointing. That is disappointing, that pass to nobody. Wow. Jay Rodriguez is coming on. We've really got to find a way to win this game, guys. We're good enough. We're smart enough. Oh! Oh, it was a bad pass to Dicko. Casey Luce did everything right. He pulled it back to Dicko. It was going to be an amazing goal, but it was a bad pass to Dicko. Dicko was coming in too hot, too hard, and too fast, and everything fell apart. Oh, Dicko. I hate to say it, but it's true. Ball John Green puts that in the net 10 times out of 10, and it's 2-0. Victor Wanyama. I tried to buy him in the offseason. He wasn't available. Oh, boy, we couldn't afford him, and now he scored against us. I love Victor Wanyama. He's one of my favorite Premier League players. All right, 87th minute. Not looking good for us. Yeah, it's just not looking good. Oh, boy. Maybe we can get one back and then maybe a miracle or something. But we've made our substitutions. Southampton enjoying the bulk of possession. You've got to say, I mean, again, I hate to lose, but you've got to admire the way Southampton bad pass to Dicko. Dicko has not really done anything in his role as substitute, and perhaps there's a lot to fault in my managing of this game. This has probably been my worst game in the Premier League as manager of the Wimbly Womblys. The Dicko substitution was a mistake. I think, and then certainly passing it out of the back in that situation, huge mistake. Gave Southampton everything that they needed, and then you've got to admire the way Southampton has played. You know, they play nice possession football, attacking, open. This is bad for our goal difference. Guys! Oh, for the love of God! Jason Punchin, another guy I tried to pick up in the offseason, actually. Stop hitting my players with your joy. Oh my, this is our worst loss of the season, and I am truly sorry. You know, we started this day, we were in 4th place, and it looked like everything was going to be great, and then we just got our bottoms handed to us. Anyway, Antoinette, don't despair. Good luck. For all I know, by the way, that's not even her problem. She asked on behalf of a friend or, like, just generally. So, Antoinette, I hope you don't have that problem at all. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for continuing to support the Wimbly Womblys even in the darkness. Best wishes.